It was a sweltering summer's day along the border of where the Chihuahuan Desert meets the Rio Grande, New Mexico. In the distance, a continuous plume of dust could be seen trailing a lone RV, trundling along through the shallow ravine that traversed the lonely landscape. Inside traveled the Reinhardt family. Reclining in the passenger seat was Olivia. The 35-year-old mother of the teenager sat in the back playing gin. Richard, a 42-year-old car salesman, was behind the wheel, singing along to Burning Ring of Fire. Rather badly, if truth be told. They were on a long-awaited family vacation from their home in Del Rio, West Texas, and had been on the road for almost a week now. They decided to stop every 100 or so miles to take photographs and explore a little. It was their last stop, the Gila Wilderness, that was to be the turning point of their journey. They decided to park the RV at the entrance to the attractive, yet unusually beautiful spot in this distinctly remote region. They left the vehicle, locked up, and went trekking through the woodland, looking for ideal locations for family portraits. Approximately an hour later, Dylan, their youngest son, shouted, "How about here, Dad?" as he stood by a cave entrance, partly covered by climbing plants and large red flowers.
"That looks awesome, son. Everybody ready?"
Soon the camera clicked, and the bright light of the flash caught them by surprise. Something about the cave intrigued them, but also made them slightly uncomfortable. Deep down in the pit of their stomach, they knew they should walk away and not look back. However, there was something drawing them in. As they entered the cave, a chill struck them and took their breath away for a second. But they pulled themselves together and continued deeper into the chasm ahead. They didn't know what lay ahead of them, just that they had to find out. As they came to the end of the tunnel, the cave opened up into a huge, empty expanse. Empty, apart from the several hundred holes in the walls. Dylan found himself walking uncontrollably towards one of the holes and peering inside, only for him to see the skeleton of a child. His heart sank a little as the sadness of what they had found sank in. The family was completely unaware of what they had happened across, and how significant it was to the local townspeople. To the locals, it was a sacred burial site, where the elders of the surrounding towns and villages were laid to rest, along with their families. Some were believed to be witch doctors and witches, feared by others, hence the remote burial site. As they turned to leave, the family heard a dull groan coming from somewhere nearby. There was only themselves down there, so who could it be? Soon, the groans became louder and more intense, and as he looked around, Richard froze to the spot, unable to speak and warn the rest of his family as to what he was seeing. In front of him stood a large-framed man, wearing traditional Mexican dress worn hundreds of years ago. He was carrying a long, decorative staff and was chanting to himself in a deep, husky voice. The family soon found themselves surrounded by what could only be described as spirits, and wondered just exactly what was going to become of them. They found themselves pinned to the outer walls of what they now knew was a tomb by the evil that was buried inside. They could feel themselves getting warmer as their blood began to boil. Shaking and screaming, they sank to the floor as the blood filled their eyes and began to stream down from the sockets and out of their nose. Screams soon became muffled as they began to cough blood up from their stomachs. The pain flowed through them like an electric current, sending them to a death encased by thrashing. As death descended on them, their bodies turned to dust. The blood seeped into the dusty cavern floor, leaving no trace of them ever being there. The RV was the only significant proof anyone had ever even stopped there. Not even the camera could be found. One thing is certain though, if I ever visit the area, I will be giving the Gila Wilderness and its spirit cave a definite rain check.